Welcome to Hispanic Biz, Stories of Success. We interview owners of businesses who built successful businesses to learn from them their story and the value of their story, their struggles, their victories, knowing that these stories are inspirational and encouraging. This is the first of a series of interviews that we have with a tremendous business owner, Mr. Jose Luis Lopez, who owns Lopez Marketing Group. Mr. Lopez, thank you for being with us.
You're welcome, you're welcome. And I'm known as the Joe Lopez with 3 E's, not 4, not 2, 3, okay?
The Joe Lopez.
The Joe Lopez,
The Joe
a
Lopez.
figment of my own imagination.
Thank you, Joe Lopez. Your business is, can you tell us about what your business is?
Our agency, Lopez Marketing Group, is a full-service agency. Everything from TV, radio, billboards, newspaper, artwork, design, social media, public relations. We've done work for Procter & Gamble, Kimberly-Clark, Coca-Cola. McDonald's is one of our big clients here and in all of West Texas. We're doing work for Ford. We're doing public relations, PR, and community outreach for the Hispanic community for Ford in Houston and Dallas. Doing work for Walmart. Just an assortment of, we've been very lucky to work with big clients. In fact, we're even doing some work for Listerine out of New Jersey. And
you serve the region?
We serve the region. We've done regional advertising. We do state and even national advertising.
And you're in El Paso?
Born and raised here. My parents are, my parents were born here. My mom was raised in Chihuahua, and my grandparents came from Chihuahua.
And your grandparents lived here?
My grandparents were born there, were raised there, then they moved to El Paso.
So what schools did you go to?
I went to Cooley School
Okay.
in close to Ascarate Drive-In. That's where we lived. And then we moved over, went to Loma Terrace, Mesa Vista, and ended up graduating from Bel Air High School, La Bel Air.
And then what did you, after high school, what did you
I went
do?
to UTEP.
Okay.
Was fortunate enough to be able to be working at Safeway. So I was able to pay my school right away and finish school right away, and finished it very quickly, and got my degree in marketing, and with a BBA in business.
So that put you out into the workforce right away?
Unfortunately, yes, and I say unfortunately because I was very young. I was 20 years old when I graduated.
You graduated from college at 20?
Yes.
When you say you got out quickly.
I graduated in 3 years.
Wow.
But it wasn't as special as it sounds. It was, I see college, I mean, I didn't like school, but I knew it was a necessary need. It's like medicine. Some of the medicine, it's good for you, but it doesn't taste good. So I went through it and went and finished my school real quick.
And your father, what did he do?
My father was a dairy farmer. In fact, he was the one who was, with his 2 brothers, ran a dairy that supported 5 families.
Really?
We were poor, and we didn't know it. It was beautiful. I was very lucky. My mom knew how to take care of the money very well. My dad also, and it was fantastic. We lived a great life.
And where was his farm?
It was right off of Lafayette and I-10.
Oh, okay. It was small dairy.
It was a small area. It was a small dairy.
So did you grow up?
Yes, milking cows.
Really?
Working at the dairy since I was 4 years old. I was like my dad's shadow. Everywhere my dad went, I'd go with him.
Do you have brothers and sisters?
I have brothers and sisters. Priscilla, who's no longer with us. Jaime, Danny, and Oscar. Great brothers and sisters.
Wow, that's a great life growing up on the farm.
Oh yeah, we used to ride the calves and milk the cows and feed the cows and do hay stuff, get bales, and you figure out small. You start throwing them up, and just knowing how to leverage.
So you're always working.
Always working. My dad and my mom instilled that in us.
And your mom, did she work too, or?
My mom was a housewife. And then when my dad got hurt for a little while, she went to work and worked at JCPenney, and I think she worked at the old Gibsons.
Oh, okay, wow. So what did you learn from your father?
I learned from my father just hard work, being honest, and whatever you do it 120%.
What was the name of his business?
It was the name of the dairy was Lopez Dairy.
Homero.
Small dairy, again. The milk was given to an association. From there they sold it to the farmers and to the prices of the world.
Yeah. Okay. And your mother, what did she do? What did she teach you?
My mom taught me to be very proud. My dad was a person that said, don't let it go to your head, always telling me, don't let it go to your head, and which was good, keep balance. My mom was the one who said, be proud, be proud. So there was a good balance. Be proud of your heritage, be proud of who you are, and make sure you sit right next to anybody else. You have the right and to sit at the table.
How involved were your parents with you through your school years?
You know what, my parents, my mom was very involved. My dad was also watching over us, but it was that that responsibility that they developed in us that helped us a lot. In other words, whatever you start, you finish, and you do a good job at it.
What kind of a student were you in high school?
You know what? I was very lucky. I was a very good student. I graduated top 10% at Bel Air.
Okay.
Yet I was able to hang with just about anybody. I love basketball and sports. Played a lot of sports, so I had a lot of friends. I went. The advantage we had at Bel Air is that it was a very good mix. I mean, I'm pulling numbers out, but you would say it was about 18% African American, and the rest was split up between Anglo or Caucasian and Hispanic. So it was diverse, and our sports teams were a good example of why diversity works.
Yeah. What year was that you graduated?
I graduated in '72.
Were you also named Outstanding Next or something?
Yes, I was named Outstanding Next in the '90s by Bel Air.
Wow, fantastic.
Good memory.
Yeah, well, you've received a lot of awards. So you get into the workforce, and you say at 20, that was kind of tough.
I kept working at full-time at Safeway. It was tough because I wanted to get into advertising. I didn't have any experience. Go in and people would say, you know what, you need to get some experience. We're going to pay you minimum wage. That time minimum wage was like $2.75, $2.50 an hour. Yeah. And I'm saying I'm earning more at Safeway, and I'm getting married, et cetera, et cetera. And so bottom line, I started working I would work in the morning. I changed my hours, so I would work in the morning, go in at 4 in the morning to 12 at Safeway, go take a shower, get a bologna sandwich. I love bologna sandwiches. And on my way to work at 1 o'clock, I'd be working for free as a gopher, delivering, et cetera, just so I could be around the advertising.
Why advertising? What
I don't know. I just ever since I was in high school, I just liked commercials and the messaging and how they created the messaging, et cetera, and being around Safeway and watching all, you have all these companies that have their products there. I just picked up on it.
So who did you work for free?
I worked for Carolyn Paxson at one time, and worked for one other agency. I don't remember what the other agency was for a little while. Did it for about 8 months, 9 months, and they just couldn't give me the time I needed. So I decided to give up on advertising and start just taking any kind of job. And got a chance to, I never wanted to be in sales, okay? Never wanted to be in sales. And I ended up selling for Coca-Cola, Minute Maid Orange Juice, for, Maryland Club Coffee, go to the stores, get everything set ready. And then I started calling on headquarters, and got very fortunate that I had a person that was a big division manager for Coca-Cola Foods, which is out of Houston, come in, work with me, and pretty soon I'm getting offers to move to Houston to go work as a region sales operations manager.
Wow. How long did you do that here in El Paso?
I did it a year and a half.
And they asked you to go to a region?
Yeah, go to the region as a region manager, region operations manager, which was the liaison between marketing and sales. Marketing was also, headquarters was also in Houston. So I got to do that, but in 6 months, again, got a chance. That's why I'm a big believer in opportunity and leveling the field, because my last name, I got a chance to at least put my name in versus with other candidates, and it was equal opportunity when it first started. And all I needed to do then is prove myself, and because there was a job in 6 months, they promoted me to go into headquarters and got to work for in new products, developing new products for Coca-Cola.
At Coca-Cola?
At Coca-Cola.
At Coca-Cola headquarters?
At Coca-Cola, no, in Houston. It was a company that Coca-Cola had purchased, which was Minute Maid orange juice and high C fruit drinks, Maryland Club coffee.
So in less than 2 years, you were already with Coca-Cola doing what you kind of wanted to do. Was that a good experience?
It was great experience. There it's like running your own business. We did everything from creating test markets, identifying what test markets we needed to look at, not just pulling them out of the air, but identifying test markets that represented the United States in sales. So we'd have 3 test markets, select them, project sales, project cost, return on investment, profit, work with packaging, work with, we had an agency out of New York that I would fly in and work with them in New York. So I got, instead of being on the agency side, I was telling the agency what we needed at Coca-Cola. So it was a nice experience. And then got to also work with just promotions and a whole bunch of different things. It was like getting your PhD in marketing.
Wow. So how long did you do that?
I did that for about 4 years with Coke.
Wow. So you learned the client side.
I learned marketing, everything from, it was complete integrated, from coupons on how to develop coupons, redemption, how to, which coupons to put out, 25-cent coupons here, coupon through the newspaper, everything. Any coupon you see out there, somebody's making the decision on whether to put it there or put it as an insert, etc.
So the product, the marketing, the distribution, the implementation of all of those ideas.
It was fantastic learning experience. When I came back from Houston to start working again, all my professors started calling me. There was an announcement that I was coming back, and all my professors were calling me and asking to have lunch. And I was wondering why. Well, a lot of them just had book sense or a little bit experience. They wanted to see what reality was. So that's when I realized what I really had picked up in Houston.
Wow. And so you decided to come back to El Paso after 4 years in Houston.
I had promised during that time period, the culture was a little bit different, the Hispanic culture, and it was like you don't leave home. You leave home, you're turning your back on the community. So I had an opportunity, and I promised my mom and dad that I would be back in 5 years. And it's funny, but 5 years I came back. I was the first Hispanic at Coca-Cola Foods in the marketing department. I walked in, there was nobody else that looked like me. One African American. Wow. And so at that time, things were going great. I was getting headhunters calling for me, and I said, I better jump because the offers for money were going to be so much I'd never be able to come back to El Paso.
Okay, but you promised that you'd come back.
Yes, I promised my dad. My dad was real, my dad's a lot like me. I like to have my kids close, but I've changed at least the way I project because it's not good for the kids. They need to follow their dreams and go wherever it is, and we need to support them. And my dad, unfortunately, saw that as somebody leaving and never coming back, and so I promised him I'd be back in 5 years because it really affected him.
So was that how important was that for you to meet your father's request?
For me at that point, very important. And at that time I was married to another lady, and she also wanted to come back. So it was a mutual kind of a situation.
Big jump. What'd you come to?
Came back and worked for an advertising agency here.
Okay.
Took a pay cut for the chance to get into advertising, and started working as their marketing director, and pretty soon account exec service too.
So you graduated from UTEP around 75?
75,
And then you come back in after, well, you're coming back around 82, 81?
About 81, 82,
And so then you get into the advertising world.
Yes, sir.
And advertising. This is feeding a desire that you've always had?
It's feeding a desire I've always had to get into the advertising, to create concepts, to create marketing plans, to get people educated on products, get them excited about our products.
It's a high energy field.
Oh, it's a very high energy field.
And you always run 100 miles an hour.
But it's fun. It's fun. I mean, it's funny. I've got some friends and some neighbors, and very, very close friends, and they look at me like, don't you ever stop? Okay, don't you ever stop? And no, the body's running 100 miles an hour.
So you're working for an advertising agency
Yes,
here in El Paso. What was that like?
You know what? It was good. I was very fortunate. I worked with Brian Reddick and a great team. They were the They and another agency were the top agencies in the market. And then I worked with Bob Wingo, who also went to Bel Air, and at a different agency for about 2 years. And then it just didn't work out, and we opened up Lopez Marketing.
Wow. Yeah, I remember Henry Reddick. I knew him as a young man. So you then, after how many years of working with these agencies, you decided to open your own?
You know what? I don't have my calculator, but I guess it was about 10 years, I guess.
Well, you
6 and 4, 6 and 5, about 11 years.
So you opened your agency what year?
I opened it in '89.
So tell me, what was that like?
Scary. It was scary. Thanks to Chase Bank, they gave me a loan to, we started it, my accountant, CPA, Robert Torres said, you know what, I don't think it's a good idea for you to open it. Well, just entrepreneur doesn't know how to say no. They just say, well, I've got faith and I'll make it happen. The numbers showed that we weren't going to make it, and we opened it up anyway. And thanks to Bob Snow and Joe Fernandez, who were at Chase, they gave me $75,000 loan with SBA, and it was great. We paid. It was a 5-year loan. We paid off, I think, in 2 years.
Wow. So it wasn't Chase then. It was what was it, Texas Commerce?
You know what? It was Texas Commerce.
Okay.
But it was the same team.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was the same.
Bob Snow's still there.
Bob Snow's still there, and a good friend.
So Robert Torres, we were fortunate enough to interview him.
Did you?
A couple of years ago.
That's fantastic. Good
A couple
guy.
of weeks ago, and wonderful man. So he prepared paperwork for you to qualify for a loan, which is pretty tough in those days.
It's very tough right now. It's tougher right now, believe it or not, than in those days.
Okay.
Right now, with all the government guidelines, because of the issues that banks had, unfortunately the government guidelines have taken it too far.
So what does it take then to open an agency? You did it with $75,000. What does it take?
A lot of faith, friends. George Thomas Holmes who was one of our clients, and he gave us free space for a while.
Okay.
There was 2 of us when we opened, and then we picked up one more person, Carolyn Garland, that joined us. It was a secretary and myself that were doing most of the work, and then we picked up Carolyn Garland that came on board, and then Art Fierro, who's with the community college here, joined us, and he was part of the team. Prior to that, I had worked with Angela Soto at that time, and she joined us in '89, in fact, right after Carolyn, and right before, several years before Art.
Wow, and she's still with you?
Yes, and so is Lily. And then we hired a young lady, Lily, who is also a partner, and Angela's a partner, and so they've been with me for basically since '89 and '90. And both of them were 10 years old, remember, when they joined us, okay?
So how did you start? I mean, you had somebody that
Close your eyes and you jump.
You did that.
You do not know any better, and you jump. When we picked up Procter & Gamble about a year later, people said, how did you get Procter & Gamble? Well, I had a friend here that needed some, Cel Diaz de Leon needed some help, and we did some help just to help him. It was hardly any money. But it got us visible with Procter & Gamble, called corporate, and people say, how did you get through? And said, I picked up the phone. They said, well, you're not supposed to get through. And I guess I didn't know any better. Sometimes you do stuff con ganas, you do stuff con the intuition that I'm just going to get it done, and it happens.
So you're good at marketing. I mean, you learned marketing with Coca-Cola.
I am damn good at marketing.
But then you also get in and run the business.
Yes, sir.
So how much time were you marketing? How much time were you?
You know what? Probably the first 4 years we had some tough times when we lost Procter & Gamble, and we saw that our accounting system wasn't the best. We had we went down. We owed a lot of money because our accounting system wasn't covering what the person in charge of accounting wasn't paying what should have been paid, et cetera, and pretty soon we're going like, oh my God, what's going on? We should have made some cuts when we lost Procter & Gamble. I hate to fire people, let them go. I just kept some people on longer. So I learned a lot during that time period. We now have somebody that does all our accounting, and our comptroller, Mayram, who's also a partner. I've got 4 women partners, okay? And we'll talk about that later, but I'll tell you all about it. 4 women partners, and Mayram is the one who keeps an eye on everything, makes sure we're doing what we need to do, paying on time, paying on what we need to do, et cetera,
Well, you were very involved in the community when you started. I mean, I met you when you, I guess, soon after you opened your business.
Yeah, well, you met me probably before, because I started, my thing was, I'm going to get involved now in El Paso. I saw so many things being at Coke, going to different markets, and I said, why not here? Why can't we do the same thing there over here?
Okay, because we started the Minority Business Council in '85, and you were part of that. And then in '91, that group went and formed the Hispanic Chamber. You were part of that. In fact, you became, you were chairman, weren't you?
I was chair in around '95
Okay.
of the El Paso Hispanic Chamber.
So
we did
you've
some
always,
great things there, yeah.
You've always been involved.
Always been involved when I came back. When I was at Coke, wasn't involved. I was too focused on I just got married, just focused on marriage, work, etc.
Why involved? What does that do?
You know what? I did it because I wanted to help and I wanted to make a difference. But in the long run, it helps the business. You get return on investment, and you shouldn't be doing it for that reason. But you should realize that it will come.
But that kind of involvement takes a lot of time.
Yes,
It takes a lot of time away from your business.
my wife, I got married. We've been married 26 years. My wife Lupe, thank God, she's been my wife, because there's been times that she's taking care of the house while I'm involved or with work or traveling, etc. And with our three kids, Andrew, Michelle, and Adrian, she's been a great mom.
How old are your children? You got 3, huh?
My daughter's 29.
Wow.
Gave us our first grandson,
Fantastic.
Jack.
Congratulations.
He'll be a year in March. Thank you. My son Andrew is seismology and geology. Graduated last year, and he's working for Schlumberger in Houston, in the Gulf. He's out on a rig on the Gulf, and he's actually watching everything they drill and looking at the mud they bring up and analyzing that. And then my son Adrian is a senior in high school.
Wow, fantastic. So you're still bringing children up. That's
yes, sir.
great.
Yes,
That's
sir.
great.
Very proud of my kids.
So as you go through this, what is the personal cost in growing a business?
You know what the personal cost is I think my kids suffered a little from me not being there as much as I should. Because when you have your own business, it's 24/7. It's like, who's going to do that? Well, me, because there's nobody else to do it. When the economy, advertising gets affected a lot by the economy. First thing you do is you don't lose clients, you lose budgets. So all of a sudden you have to start figuring out where everything goes. And so the economy it can affect us a lot. But bottom line, the personal cost is, I think the kids suffer a little. I'm lucky that on weekends I would spend a lot of time with my daughter, who is from another marriage. But my God, Lupe treats her like she knew her since she was real small. So she calls her mom. So everywhere I went to work, Michelle would be with me. I'd be at radio remotes on Saturdays, and I'd be carrying Michelle on my arm and serving sodas to the people and doing that kind of stuff.
Was that a fun time?
It's always been a fun time. Kids are a gift from God, and it's one of those where the world may be falling apart outside, but the minute you get home and you hear "Daddy, Daddy," everything stops. So it's always been fun. It's been tough during economic time periods, and you go through 3 months, 4 months of figuring out how to adjust, but then you adjust and then you say, síguele.
So when did you realize that your business was going to survive?
Probably in 5 years from now. In business, you never know if your business is going to survive. You always have, and I read this from another entrepreneur that's a big company. He says you always have to almost run scared, because the minute you relax, something pops up that you don't expect. And so you're always looking at making things happen. I mean, we opened up Lopez in 94. We teamed up with another agency here that just didn't work out. So we reopened Lopez in 98. Didn't have anything. Okay, didn't have anything. Opened up Lopez. My members, my team followed me. We went, and thank God for 6 months, no interest at that time. So we went and bought computers and printers and everything on credit cards, and if not, usually you don't have a lot of money in the bank at that time. And if you do, you don't want to you're scared of risking the family money on it. But we did. We went and opened it in '98, and what is it? 2013 now.
So, so how did these your staff and your clients take to you? You're a young man. You're building a business. You're young. Was that an issue at any time? Your youth?
No, I think what helped was the experience at Coca-Cola. How many other people in El Paso can say they work for Coke Foods?
Right.
How many other people in El Paso can say they did national marketing for Minute Maid? And how many other people can say Minute Maid apple juice that you see on the market? Okay, I was the one who was responsible for bringing it to market, for deciding whether we put Minute Maid or another name on it, making recommendations, providing return on investment for the client. Well, not the client, but for Coke.
So you have a lot of experience knowing what a large client needs, and you come into an El Paso market that doesn't have a lot of large industry. I want to ask you more about your client service, how you know the client's needs, and how your experience helped you. But quickly, how did your experience help you?
We know how to put marketing plans for the whole year. We're not operating from the hip, making recommendations now. It's a whole plan. When we do McDonald's, we plan the whole year. When we plan other clients, we plan the whole year. This is what we're going to do. This you adjust based on what's going on, but you have a way of planning. And again, I got taught by the best. Coca-Cola and Procter & Gamble are probably the best places to learn how to do marketing.
So you plan your business for the year as well as your clients' plans
My business for the year and their business for the year.
And do you have surprises that come up?
Of course. Life is a surprise. The economy is a surprise. 9/11 was a big surprise, and it just, what was going great also almost died.
We want to inquire about how you prepared for those surprises and continue to build your business. You started the business in '89.
Mm-hmm.
You've talked about some changes you've made. So you've made some different iterations of the business. What was that like?
Life's a change. I mean, the book "Who Moved My Cheese" is a great book because it's the story of how you're supposed to follow the cheese. If the cheese is on the right, you don't go to the same place. You start going where the cheese is. And in our situation right now, there's been a big push, for example, on public relations and social media. And so above and beyond the overall advertising and marketing we do, we're getting some clients now that want us to do social media, public relations, and do outreach. And so we adjust. We hire people to basically help us with execute some of that for our clients.
But you've changed your business name too.
Yes, our business name was advertising. We found we were more of an integrated marketing firm. Advertising can be just everything on top: television, radio, billboards, newspaper. That's it. We like to bring it all the way down. So we'll do this and make sure that the advertising and the marketing tie in with the promotion at the stores, sweepstakes. Everything is tied in. So it's all integrated. Okay. Vertically versus just horizontally.
And so as you've expanded or changed, reinvented, you changed your name.
We changed our name more to, we didn't change. This is the way we've always done it, okay? But we realized that we weren't communicating who we were, so we changed our name. And so we went to marketing, which is everything versus just advertising. Marketing is the whole everything, public relations. Even sales sometimes falls under marketing, promotion, sweepstakes, PR, all of that is all over the umbrella of marketing.
Now you deal mostly with larger businesses?
You know what, that's the impression people have, but we've had some medium-sized businesses and some small businesses. It's hard for me to turn down anybody. And even then, so there's some businesses that don't have a lot of money, can't afford us basically, and I still have lunch or breakfast with them and kind of help them and give them some input, because I can't walk away from somebody that has the guts to open up a business. We've got to make sure we help them. They're hiring people, they're creating jobs.
What marketing wisdom do you have for a medium-sized business?
Everything from investing, making sure that you look at advertising as and marketing as a way to grow your business, just like you do accounting and everything else, instead of doing it as in a situation where they look at it and they see as, well, if I have any money left over, maybe I can put some in. Well, you're never going to grow, and people say, well, that restaurant died, or this business didn't make it. Well, nobody knew you were there. You had a great product, but if nobody knows, the good example I give is, you could have had Michael Jackson and all the great singers in the world at a big party, okay, at a big nightclub. But if nobody knew they were there, you'd be the only one there.
So you started a business as a young man, a Hispanic business owner. How did they learn that? How did businesses here know you were there?
I had been around working at the other agencies. I had been involved, and that's where I tell you that my involvement, I didn't realize it, but just wanting to help, pretty soon I got known by other people. That's how we met, okay? And you get to meet other people, and pretty soon they themselves will spread the word, or they themselves will recommend you. So that's how it came.
That was networking, a lot of networking.
And I made some announcements. We did some PR for came out in the paper. The media's been great to us. We've got some great media relations with all the TV stations and the radio stations and the newspapers. And we've had it ever since we opened up Lopez.
Well, you've also served on committees and boards. As we mentioned earlier, you were president of the Hispanic Chamber. You were chairman.
People get to see your heart. And I think it gave me a chance to show my heart, how much I believe in El Paso, how much I wanted El Paso to grow, how much I wanted to help. And I think people, when they see that, they want to help you. And so that's been the advantage of being involved and being visible. I mean, some people don't want to be. At first, the only reason I became chair of the Hispanic Chamber was because nobody else wanted the position. At that time, the chamber was in the hole. They owed some money, and we had to turn it around, and we did. We turned it around, and they've taken it. And Cindy and her group have made a great job of taking it to the next level, and all the other chairs that had followed us.
So you've served on other committees as well.
I've served on the United Way. I've served on Project Hungry to help raise money for senior citizens that sometimes they just, at the end of the month, they've used all their Social Security money to pay for their medicine and other things that they don't have any food. And so the idea was to get them some money. I'm a volunteer for the El Pasoans fighting hunger here, and help them with some artwork and some other stuff we've done. And we're going to continue helping them.
Now, all this time, your business goes up and down. Is that the nature of your business?
The business goes up and down, and unfortunately, sometimes you almost become obsessed with. It's a great feeling. It's a high to help people, to see you help a business grow. You see people that didn't have something have it, and sometimes it takes a lot more work than you expected, and that can take you away from your business too. So that can affect, and it's affected my business. Thank God I've got some partners that every once in a while they give me a little shake and say, wait, how about us?
Now, you're really good at advertising, and that's been your forte. How about the other aspects of business? Did not knowing certain things really hinder growth? Or
you assume things. You assume things are being taken care of, and now I'm very hands-on everything. But remember, I had an advantage. I was able to run a business to a certain point with Coca-Cola. So each product I was responsible for, I had everything from making sure what's going to go on advertising, what's going to go on packaging, what promotion, and had to deliver X amount of profit at the end of the year.
And you talk about budgets. So you use budgets for control?
You use budgets for control and for growth.
So what kind of challenges do you face today?
The economy. The hardest thing, two things that we have in this. First of all, I'm in El Paso. A marketing firm in El Paso, it's harder than it was before. At one time, we had a lot of corporations here, or a lot of regional offices, and they did their local marketing. Not anymore. A lot of that has gone, and it's the decision's being out of town. We have a lot of the car dealers that unfortunately don't use advertising agencies anymore. They used to use a lot of advertising agencies, and unfortunately some of them are going out of town, and they're bringing in agencies from out of town, which they complain about not buying, us buying in Las Cruces and other markets, and it's like, okay, well, great. Well, why don't you practice what you preach and keep your advertising local? But in their eyes, they're probably deciding that they're going with an agency that has a specialty in auto sales, et cetera. And it's one of those. But bottom line, it affects us because we have very few agencies, very few car dealers that spend a lot of money that have local agencies.
Do you have a niche market?
You know what? Our niche market is more consumer and retail. And retail including everything from grocery stores to furniture stores to dealers, and as well as the food industry and restaurants, McDonald's. I mean, thank God for Richard Castro. He gave us a chance. He gave us an opportunity, and we're one of the top markets in the U.S. for McDonald's, and we've been like that for a long time. But Richard's Castro and all the operators there are we've got great local operators here in El Paso, and then we now have some good ones in Midland, Odessa also. Richard went over there for a while. He sold it. Richard did a great job over there, and he sold it to another person that's doing a good job in Midland, Odessa. So we've been very fortunate to work with two markets and two sets of operators that are very progressive, very smart, and we've been part of their team.
What kind of challenges did you have to deal with that were that were very scary challenges?
The hardest thing is you pick up a client and the client has payment terms that are not 15, 30 days. They're 60, 90 days. And you're not set up. Your vendors don't play that game. And sometimes you may have somebody pays you 120 days. So you have to go get a credit line to be able to hold you through. So you're paying interest on something you didn't think. You're not making as much money because you're paying that interest, but it's the nature of the game. It's not just our industry, it's a lot of industries. So a credit line and a good banking relationship is very important.
And you've been able to maintain those?
You know what, we have, thank God. We've learned to be over 2 or 3 different banks. Terry Garcia has been fantastic for us with Bank of America. We own our own building. Well, Bank of America owns it, but we're paying them, and sooner or later we'll own it. But Terry had the vision to see our vision and helped us get a loan so we could buy the building. We had Fermin Acosta that helped us when he was a government employees credit union, and he helped us get the money to buy the land. And if it wasn't for him, we wouldn't have been able to do it. There were some other banks that we went in here, local banks, that didn't care. It was their rules, et cetera, and now they're going like, oh, can we be your bank? And I'm going like, yeah, right, now, forget it. We're going to stay with the people that were with us.
Now you're talking about people that know you and you know.
Mm-hmm.
But they know you more than they know your business. Is that fair, or do they
Yes.
they get a good sense of knowing your business as well?
You judge people, unfortunately and fortunately, based on the person you know, or you judge the business. So if you think a person's a go-getter or can go get it done, you have a lot more faith in that person than somebody you don't know. So I've got an advantage. I go in there and maybe sometimes the financials are okay, they're not fantastic, and but they know that we're growing, and if I say we're growing, we got new work coming in, they believe me, and they know I'm not about to lie. Like, for an agency in El Paso to say, we're about to pick up some work from Listerine, somebody else will say, yeah, you're crazy. But they know that I'm not about to do it, to lie. For us to be an agency out of El Paso doing Hispanic PR for Ford in Houston or in Dallas.
So is that one of your fortes, being a Hispanic advertising agency?
Yes. We found that the competition there's a lot of agencies doing general market. There's less agencies going after Hispanic marketing. So we said that's a market where we're going to be able to play because there's less competition. And even then, it's become a tough business because you have some big conglomerate agencies that have bought other smaller agencies and given them the business.
So how important is it to build a track record?
It's very important. You need to be able to, that's my card, that's my portfolio. This is what we've done for McDonald's, this is what we've done for Ford, this is what we've done for Walmart, this is what we've done for Procter & Gamble. That carries a lot of weight. If I can go in and show you a whole bunch of designs, but it doesn't have a corporation or a client's name that people see or recognize, it's a lot harder. So we've been very fortunate from the very beginning, being able to pick up clients that that are well known.
So at one level, you're macro. You see the large picture. You look at a campaign. You see the campaign from start to finish, and you envision that. But you're also a detail person, and you get involved in detail. To
Yes.
what level? What level?
To the point that I will be at a remote for a client on a Saturday. Okay, my team will be at the other remotes, and to the point that I will wash windows or wash. Good example. We're at Hispanic Chamber big event and Ford is one of the main sponsors, and we're showing one of our cars. I'm up there at 7 in the morning, detailing the car so it shines, etc. With my person. We have a person that works for us in Houston, and we're both cleaning the car, even though it had been washed. We're detailing it. So to that point, yes.
What's the future for Lopez Marketing?
You know what? The future is up to us right now, and my partners are fantastic, and they see a big future for us, and it's starting up. We've been kind of plateaued for a while, and concerned about that plateau, because in my mind, a business that's not growing is dying. But the economy's coming back, and clients or prospective clients that we had talked to are now calling back and saying, okay, they're letting me spend the budget, let's talk again. And that's happening a lot more.
You talk about partners. That was a decision you made. Tell me about how you came to that.
I've got two young ladies that it all started with them, and they're Angela Esquivel and Lily. And Lily is, like I said, been with us for since 1990, and Angela since '89. And I said, they've given up a big portion of their life and had enough faith and followed me wherever I went. When we opened up Lopez, when we went and went with the other agency, when we opened up Lopez again, very loyal, really willing to work, etc. And they've been fantastic. So I said, let me offer you a partnership. Let me offer you shares, if you will, of Lopez. So that now they own shares of Lopez. Then we had two others that joined us, Mayram Lugo and Marisela Alvarez, and they, with Lily Quintana and Angela Esquivel, they all four of them now are the partners. And so I've got 4 women partners. They're like sisters, okay, except when they get upset.
What benefit is that?
Okay. The benefit of having a female as part of a partner is fantastic. We consider, and it's a male versus female, which is not. I think what it is the females, either there's a sixth sense that we as males don't use, and they've learned how to use it. But I'll go to meetings and I'll take one of them with me because they're picking up on stuff, vibes or something that I don't pick up. People lying, people exaggerating, or good opportunity, or they're able to see things that I don't see. And so I always love to have one of them with me. When I go present, I love to have one of them with me.
When you hire new staff, do you include them in the process?
Yes, definitely.
For that reason.
We'll go and interview people. I may like somebody, they may see something I don't see. And so, yeah, definitely. I'll have at least 2 of them, if not all of them, that will interview the person.
How much does personality affect business? In your case, are there personality traits that really can affect your business?
Yes. And you have to adjust. Not everybody is Joe Lopez, or not everybody is Mayram or Marisela or Lily or Angela. And you just see if that personality will fit within the agency, at least with the family atmosphere that we try to keep. And at the same time is going to be somebody's going to roll with us, or we're going to have to, drag her behind us and drag him or her behind us. We don't need anybody to drag right now. We need somebody who's going to sit down and row the boat with us.
Now, you've seen some businesses not have sustainable success over the years. And of course, you've seen some that have sustainable success. From your vantage point, because you get into the business, when you take on a client, you get into these businesses, you understand their marketing plans and
everything. I become a business consultant. And unfortunately, we don't charge for that. for the agency, but fortunately for the client, they get a lot of advice that they really wouldn't get from other marketing firms or other advertising firms because of the way we become personal friends with them, and we want to help them. So there's things that we see and go, like everything from people they hire to recommending that maybe they cut their hours during certain time periods so they're more profitable, et cetera. That's the kind of stuff that we get into.
What kind of advice would you give a mid-sized business today?
On an open or just examples?
Well, things that you've learned that have helped you.
Accounting. Accounting is so important. You need to, the accounting is the heart of the agency. You may have the brain that's creative and the feet that move it, et cetera, but without the heart, you can't. You need money to hire people. You need money to buy equipment. We just bought a whole bunch of new computers we were holding on, but with the economy, we said we're going to hold. We got some computers that were pretty old. We revamped everything. So the accounting is very important. Your CPA is very important. You need to make sure you have a CPA and a good advisor. A banking relationship is always important. But I think the other thing is always having a good team. And I've been very lucky. I've got a fantastic team. Not just the partners, but I've got people like our media buyer, Silvia Prada. We've got some of the others, SB, and some of the people on the other team that are there. Ruby, that just joined us and has been with us for a while, for only about 6 months, been good. SB's fantastic, and then we have Elizabeth that started in the front. We got her doing a whole bunch of other stuff.
So how large a staff do you have?
The staff is about 9 people, including myself. That's counting here, and we have a person that works for us in Houston, and then we have another person on contract that works for us in Dallas.
As your business has grown and you've had to deal with the challenges, because advertising seems to face things a lot more direct than maybe other businesses, have you grown as a person?
Oh, definitely. I think I've learned to balance out emotions, because when you first start your business, you feel like everything is so important, and you start realizing what's important, what's not important, what to get excited about, what not to get excited about. And I've had a lot of learning. I mean, I got a whole bunch of chichones from my partners where they go like, pa, pa. And my wife, my God, she's been fantastic. She also pulls me aside. Is it really that important? Well, no. Then calm down. And she's concerned about my health, making sure I'm not getting any younger, making sure that I don't get overexcited about things that I don't need to get excited about. So I've got a lot of help in growing, seeing things, perspective, what's important, what's not important. My grandson is a good example. I thought my grandson came early in my career. I thought I still needed to work the agency a little bit more, and that I wasn't going to be able to give my grandson the time that I would love, because my father was the best grandfather he could ever be, and I wanted to be like him. And you need time for that. My dad was retired, and I'm not. But you know what? The grandson controls it, and he's the one who says, no, I'm here, and you're going to play with me, and I enjoy it. So it's been fantastic.
So when you had an idea of advertising and you finished your college looking to advertising, did you have an idea you were going to build a business?
Yes.
Was that deep inside?
No.
A vision?
It not at the beginning. In college, I didn't think I didn't want a business. My uncle, who's a very well-known tax lawyer here in town, Enrique Samaniego, told me, let's set up a business together. And fresh out of college, I said, no, Tio, I don't want to have my own business. I don't want headaches. I just want to work for somebody. So to run my own business at that time, no. As I got into the advertising, I started seeing there was things that when I came back, that I could do better. I thought we could do better. The way clients were treated, maybe it should have been treated better. You always think you can do better. And I'm sure there's people inside my agency that feel the same way. And that's when you start getting that little seed of maybe one of these days I'll open up my own agency or become a partner with somebody.
Well, you're at a point now where you're looking to a legacy, perhaps? What would be your...
No. Thank you, but right now we're still growing the business. There's some big opportunities I think we have to go after, And the PR aspect of it with Ford has just opened up doors we've never thought. The Walmart PR that we're doing has opened up doors we never thought. It's been great. So it's an aspect of PR used to be just part of the overall marketing. The PR now has become a niche in itself for us.
So growth is ahead for you. You're at mid-stage then, the way you're describing your business.
We sure are. We sure are. And we've got some banking relationships that have been good to us, others that haven't been great, and we're going to take care of the ones that have been with us and anybody else that's believing in us. So because I think Lopez is about to explode, thank God.
So at the stage of growth that your business is at, what do you need?
I'm in El Paso, and the hardest thing is to know when there's an opening or an opportunity in Dallas or Houston or New York. So if I could, perfect world, I would clone myself or somebody like me and have a Joe Lopez in Houston, in Dallas, and in New York, just to be around, be visible, so people come up and say, you know what, we need you to pitch our account. That would be great.
How are you addressing that?
Traveling.
Just a lot.
It's either move to Dallas, where there's a lot of corporations, move to New York, okay, or decide to live where I love to live, is El Paso, and just fly a lot. So I'm flying a lot.
Why is El Paso so important?
It's a great place to grow a family. I love El Paso. People come in here and they go like, oh my God, this is great. It's no matter what's going on with issues in other areas. I mean, suburbs. Everybody has their suburbs, but you don't have what you have in El Paso. And the culture is fantastic. I mean, I'm glad the military's coming in with more, because I think we need to have a diversity in this community. For a while, we were too non-Hispanic, and then we're becoming maybe too Hispanic. People would say, well, what do you mean too Hispanic? Well, we learn from each other. We get to see different ways of thinking, and we kind of learn from each other, whether it be African American, Asian, Caucasian. We learn from each other, and it's great.
Well, you certainly talked an awful lot about leadership. You know, the leadership you brought through your involvement in organizations, your leadership in building your business. El Paso still needs your leadership too for things that are coming.
I'm involved. I've gotten back involved for a while. We were so focused on everything else outside, but I've gotten back involved in the community. But the contacts, being chair of the Hispanic Chambers in Texas, TAMAC, was great. I've developed relationships that I can bring and help El Paso. Being on the national board of the United States Hispanic Chamber, develop relationships up there with corporate, opening doors, getting, I've helped some businesses get opportunities with Las Vegas, the MGM Mirage, and that whole group. There's one company that was doing some work for MGM casinos in Mississippi. Helped another company with doing some work in Las Vegas. So those contacts make it easier for me to serve more as a conduit to help others grow their business, which means jobs.
Small business grows jobs. So the future is bright for Joe Lopez and Lopez Marketing Group. Greater growth, and we can expect greater leadership. Greater leadership. And you don't have gray hairs yet, so that's fantastic. So there's a lot more coming.
I pull them every day.
Well, appreciate your sharing your story. It's clear that your growth is ahead. You've built a wonderful foundation, but you're providing leadership and is still involved in the community, and that's a benefit to our community. And so El Paso's benefited that you made a decision to honor your father's request to come back to El Paso and start. I'm sure that.
No, well, that's kind of you, but you know what? El Paso's been good too. Been good to my family, myself. We live to go up to New York, and people go like, "Why are you in El Paso?" I tell them, I've got a 2,500 square foot home, a pool, big yard, okay, and 4 bedrooms. I mean, I could go through the whole thing, and it's only costing me, when we bought the house, it was only 120,000. They go, huh? For that kind of house, it's a million and a half over here.
Yeah.
And that's the advantage. The cost of living is so much greater. We get more for what we have. The environment, it's the sun. I love, except for the dirt and the wind that we get every once in a while. Who else can claim that?
Well, we really certainly do appreciate your story and find it encouraging and enlightening and inspiring. And we thank you for your time, Mr. Lopez. And,
Is it over? That's it?
Not quite.
It's a pleasure.
But we
it's
really,
a pleasure.
we really do thank you. And
You're
we thank
welcome.
the viewers for watching and hope they find the show to be encouraging and inspiring. Thank you for watching, and look again for Hispanic Biz Stories of Success. Thank you.